Welcome to Three Broke Guys Handicapping webcast for July 8th, 2016. Whenever you've chosen to watch, thank you, and we hope you continue to enjoy the show. If you have any comments about the show, please find us on YouTube or on Twitter at Three Broke Guys. For our new viewers, each week we will analyze a Pick 4 sequence and try to come up with a consensus on a Pick 4 ticket for that sequence. My name is Joe English, and I am the substitute host for this week, as our weekly host, Mr. Rich Sharp, is on special assignment this week. But will hopefully be to handicapping what Daryl Hall and John Oates were to 1980s pop music. Joining me from Staten Island, New York, where some scenes from the critically acclaimed HBO series The Sopranos were filmed, is my fellow race analyst and longtime friend, Ray Tirado. How you doing this evening, Ray?
How you doing, Joe? I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Just wondering, is the Bada Bing still open?
Oh yeah.
I know you don't. I know you don't frequent the place, but I just figured I'd ask for a pop culture Sopranos reference for those who may or may not remember the show.
Most likely, it's probably still open. I would think so.
Yeah, I would guess. Let's do a quick recap from last week's Summit of Speed at Gulfstream. Unfortunately, we got ousted in the first leg when Delta Bluesman re-rallied on the fence to get the better of our choice, Chief Lion, and draw off to a comfortable score. We had mentioned in our pick fours in the sequence, we had mentioned two long price winners that paid off later. And if you use those horses in your other wagers, kudos to you. That pick four sequence paid a grand total of $23.75 and 40 cents for the 50 cents base wager.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was pretty nice actually, for what happened, and we probably should have had Delta Bluesman, but obviously we can't go very deep all the time. Yeah. This week we're tackling what promises to be a very difficult sequence. It's the late pick four from Belmont Park on Saturday, which is part of the New York Racing Association Stars and Stripes Festival. Quick weather update from Elmont, New York. Saturday's forecast calls for scattered thunderstorms beginning at around noon Eastern and lasting throughout the evening. The high temperature expected to be about 76, but it's supposed to be pretty humid as well. Since the sequence starts at about 4:40 Eastern, inclement weather must be factored into your selections, whether it happens or not. Ray, the gates are locked and loaded. Are you tied on?
Yep, here we go.
And away they go. I always wanted to do that. Since Trevor's coming back this week with the opening of Del Mar, I figured I'd throw it in. All right, the sequence this week starts with race 8 at Belmont Park. It's the third running of the Grade 1 Belmont Derby for 3-year-olds running 1.25 miles on the inner turf course. 13 have entered. The 7-2 morning line favorite is trained by Aidan O'Brien and is aptly named Long Island Sound. Colm O'Donoghue is listed to ride, and he'll break from post 6. Ray, who, if anybody, is a must include to begin the sequence?
Well, I have here 5 horses that I think are going to run well, which will probably hopefully will conclude. The money. I thought I was handicapping the Kentucky Derby because this race is for 3-year-olds only, and many of these have never been turned furlongs. So it was like, how do you gather who's going to get to this one of those weird races? Actually, the NYO has done a good job by making these races in the middle of the summer to get some graded races.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take a shot here. These horses we've had, previous races before. We've talked about them. I like to try and Beach Patrol. He's 12-1. He didn't run well as a favorite in the Penn Mile, but nobody was going to beat him that day. He was long gone after a slow first half. I like the jockey switch to Castellano. He may get the first run and closes at this distance in the American turf until he's beaten on the rail by a stablemate Camelot Kitten. He had won 18-1. Chad Brown and Castellano click on 36% the last 60 days. So they're riding pretty well together. I like to mention also Gluten. He's 5-1. He's winner of the last two stakes: American Turf, Grade 2 at Churchill, and the Pennine Ridge, Grade 3. Has been exacta in 5 of his 6 starts. I think this horse can run all day. It's nice that he has push button speed in the middle of the race to be in it for the inside or the outside. So he can rally from either way, as long as he gets a good trip. Arrow the T's still on board, and he's taking his third 3 in a row. We've talked about Aero Force before. He's 10-1 in Penn Mile. He should have been prompting Clash against in a Penn Mile, but he stumbled at the start. But he did make up ground. But Clash that day was gone. One of the best miles. She was in full flight. But he did well to run second over Giant Run, who actually won the Manila Stakes at Belmont, the July 4th feature. He might actually like the 10 furlongs if he's allowed to relax and settle. And he could probably wait behind horses, post number 8. A few of my B picks here. Number 12, called Provision, another of Chad Brown's horses. He's kind of lightly raced. He's out of Lemon Drop Kid. He's got stamina and he's breeding. He picks up a hot jockey, John Velasquez, who's been riding very well the last few weeks in stake races. He's a good price at 12-1. He could live the tugboat for us. And I'm going to just mention €1. I'm not really too keen on all of them. I just have no idea what they are. And they come here, and who knows? The past performances are limited. But I'll mention Long Island Sound. He's 7-2. He was 3-4 in Europe. His only defeat was a third at this distance on a soft turf in a Grade 3 at Royal Ascot. And I guess that would be my selections: 9, 6, 8. And probably a B pick is 12 and 7. So Joe, we got 13 of them. You can choose the other 8, and we'll just hit your button and call it a day.
As easy as that would sound, I don't know that we can afford to go that deep. Again, I'm not sure if we'll even be playing this ticket because we have to talk to our partner in crime, and I don't even know if he's had a chance to handicap. Yeah, no, this was actually a very tough race. The horse I like on top is actually one of the horses you mentioned. I like Aero Force. I think he's been improving since he's returned back to the turf. And I think if he actually, I don't know that him being mid-pack in this spot is all that bad. I know I don't necessarily want somebody who's really way at the back. Generally, this course has been playing the speed lately. Now, how the rain, if it comes, and how strong it is, how that's going to change the complexion of the race, it's kind of hard to say. But I'm taking it as if it's going to be a fast track, for a firm turf course, because it's been so hard. It's going to take a lot of rain to make it anything other than firm. So unless it's a real strong thunderstorm, I'm thinking Aero Force should be fine mid-pack. He should get first run on the deep closers. He may have to run down Long Island Sound. Long Island Sound, I think, has a tendency to be closer to the lead. But like I said, I'm on Aero Force. The other 2 horses that I like, you mentioned Camelot Kitten. I don't need to go any further than what you mentioned. The other horse I was liking a little bit is the number 4 Highland Sky, who is unfortunately a deep closer, which is why I can only make him my 3rd best pick. He's been getting better with longer distances. His speed figures have been improving, and until you see a 3-year-old bounce, you got to take them at their word. And it's possible that he could run another big one, depending on how the speed sets it up for him. But I'm really torn because I don't think this track has been favoring deep closers. I think it's more likely to be the mid-pack closers who are going to do well. So I only went 3 deep. I went 8, 6, 4 in that order. I could use all 3. I could use any combination of the 3, but I really want to use Aero Force, and I know he's already on one of your A picks, so I don't think we'll have any issues there.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to race 9, the 130th running of I was shocked by this, Grade 2 Suburban Handicap for 4-year-olds and up, set to go 10 furlongs on Belmont's main track. And I want to make sure everybody's aware, Belmont's 1.5 miles. If you don't know, this race will start on the turn, which probably helps the horses breaking from the inside posts. Fortunately, only 8 are set to try this, and it's a $500,000 purse. And the morning line favorite is a horse that we're all familiar with. He's 5-2 on the morning line, and he's from the Jimmy Jerkins barn, and it's FNX, ridden by Mike Smith again, and he will break from one of the outer posts, post 5. I wanted to ask you, Ray, before as the prelude into your handicapping, do you think FNX can rebound from basically what I thought can only be best described as a dull effort last time in the Foster at Churchill Downs? What do you think?
Well, I'm not. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not gonna be picking him in any of my picks. I mean, he could, but at the price, we have to take a chance here. 5-2. I'm not gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
My heart isn't on him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Eagle, number 4. It's 5-1. I'm actually what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to look at horses who have been knocking on the door and might finally break through. Every horse has his day, and FX had his. He's great winner. Kind of bounced last time, in the Foster. He's running well at Belmont, but I'm just to try and beat him. I'm at one of his positions this week is just trying to beat these favorites who have I'm gonna just say prove it to me. You can run again. Bounce back with your effort. I think Eagle like the distance here. He's been closing short of greater stakes. He ran the Foster, the Alashiba, Derby Day. Shipper Neil Howard sticks with Brian Hernandez. He might have one of these breakout performances. This is his first race at 10 furlongs, and he might actually like it. He's been running well, just been knocking on the door. As you can see, got beat by Braidster, Majestic Harbor a few times. He was a long shot, Majestic Harbor. Beat us out that day.
Mm-hmm.
And the Alashiba. But I'll go with Eagle. I like Noble Bird also. I mean, I think, if anybody who could bounce, could come back would be Noble Bird, because I think Noble Bird, last race, going a mile is not really his game. And the horse he beat was Superman. Mm-hmm. Foster just ran up the truck that day. Yeah. So nobody was winning that day. Mm-hmm. He won the Pimlico Special like he was this year's Older Horse champion. But so he wasn't really at his game last time. He probably bounced a little bit off of that race, and facing Foster. The last half of that race was just all Foster. Everybody else was running for second, and he actually only lost by 4 lengths, if you notice, to the other horses. So that's not that too bad going a mile. He was in a pressured pace in the mile, and he's got tackle speed. The rail post can help him for most of the race, so he'll be in good position. Let Pooh knows what to do with him, so he'll be there. As a B pick, Mutabahib, 7-2. He comes from Dubai. He ran in the World Cup behind California Chrome for the second time, so that's a pretty good race he ran there. He was even in the Derby here and Belmont here. Victim of American Fowles, beautiful runs. He's a grinder. He may appreciate the distance. And picks up Ira Ortiz, who's a second lead jockey at Belmont. So that's a good combination. So it's kind of sad that Suburban has lost his graded 1 status. Used to be $1 million. They cut the purse down, but it happened. Maybe there's not much support for handicapped horses in the middle of summer. So
I think a lot of them wait. A lot of them probably wait for the Whitney and the
a lot of them wait for Saratoga, Belmont, the Breeders' Cup. So these races here, like they're looking for a lot of horses that just blossoming, trying to get into the older handicap division, especially 4-year-olds. So it's like their first the first really big races that they have, and that's many of the established horses run here. So it's sad, but it's so it is what it is.
Yes, it absolutely is.
But it's a race, and it's a good purse actually. So
yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
You won't look at it for the phone, but
no, he's coming back in San Diego, hopefully at in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's funny. I like Noble Bird, and I like him for a lot of the same reasons you like him. I just noticed that when he seems to get a clear lead, if he can set a 47 fraction, the two races, I mean, in the Ben Ali, he got beat by Eagle going a mile and an eighth in his first start in about 2 months, which it really was his second start off a longer layoff. But then the Pimlico Special, when he got clear early, he was just gone. And I think the rail is going to help him. He doesn't have to, he's not going to break from one of the outside posts where he's going to have to use it all to get any position. I think he's going to be on the lead anyway. But the horse I actually like the most is the number 3, the other Jimmy Jerkins. We always talk about the other Baffert, the other Cassie, the other Chad Brown, the other this, the other that. So I'm going with the other Jimmy Jerkins, and that is Shaman Ghost. He's 5 for 10 lifetime, still improving. Third start off the layoff. He's got a good style for the distance. He should be up close to Noble Bird. He's got a solid drill under his record. He's got a great jockey. Joel Rosario gets aboard. He's not going to be the favorite. He's got a good Tomlinson figure if it's a wet track. So I have nothing but positive things to say about Shaman Ghost, and he's going to be 5 to 1. And if FNX isn't himself, like I said, I think he gets first run, and he may just put these away as they turn for home. So I'm in the Shaman Ghost camp 100% tomorrow. Again, I can see using Noble Bird because if he happens to get clear and get Brave on the lead, he'll be tough to catch. But like I said, I really like Shaman Ghost more than any of the others in this field, and I'm with you on FNX. I think we've seen the best of him, and I'm not sure if the switch back to Mike Smith is going to make much, if any, difference. Again, every horse is allowed to have a bad day. So if that was just a bad day for him and he could come back and easily win this at 5 to 2. And my guess is he might even drift up a little bit from that 5 to 2 morning line based on that last effort, if you want to call it that. So, but I'm squarely on the 3, and Noble Bird would be my other selection. I did like Eagle as a B pick. Yeah. He's going to be coming from far back. He probably will need some pace to run into. And I'm not sure what's going to happen if some of the outsiders may prompt Noble Bird and make it faster than we want. Maybe that sets it up for Eagle. But again, I'm a Shaman Ghost guy today. So he'd be as close to a single as I could find on this card. But again, I'd use Noble Bird, so I'd go at least 2 deep personally. And, okay. I know you like Eagle, so if we went 3 deep, I really wouldn't have a problem with that. Again, he was my 1B pick anyway. Okay, moving on to race 10, the third running of the Belmont Oaks, Grade 1, 3-year-old fillies, running the same 1.25 mile distance on the inner turf as the Belmont Derby 2 races prior. 13 set to go here as well. Morning line favorite is the undefeated 7 for 7 on the turf. Catch a Glimpse, 2 to 1 morning line, running from post 12, and has never tried to run 10 furlongs before. And Ray, I just need to ask, do you think if she loses, is it the distance that will do her in? Do you think one of her rivals would do her in? Or do you think she'll win regardless?
Well, she's definitely going to have a target on her back. You know, one of those big signs, one of those bullet signs on the back. You know, I think, if she loses, I don't think it'll be the distance. I think this horse could get distance. I firmly believe that. I think she's able to. Of course, she's undefeated in the tough field. She's able to, like in the Penn Mile, she ran a half of 47.4, which, I mean, she could be off the lead on that pace, but then she just took off in mid-pack. So, I mean, another quarter, I don't think it's going to matter to her, especially in this condition where you don't have older horses. These are only 3-year-olds. Mm-hmm. So you don't have more experienced horses running. And they were all the same condition, the same distance. They never tried it. She's the best horse in the field, so I would have to, go go with her. Try and get that extra furlong, like we always say. You know,
Hmm.
but there are some horses who could give her some trouble. I have a few long shots here that we could hopefully, if you agree, we can include. Number 5, Noble Beauty, 20-1 more in line. Lightly raced, but it looks like she got some talent. I know she only has a lone maiden win, but 2 nice seconds in the stake races. It's a reach, but this distance, anything's possible. Chad Brown, has a few horses. He has a couple. Uh, did I get one? Well, he's here with
Three.
Castellano. Yeah, and the Ramsey's homebred, so they're the top breeders of the game. So this horse could have a future, and it could start tomorrow. Number 6, Harmonize, right below. But you see Blink is on. It's an improving horse here. As the distance get longer, he's actually 3 for 7 with 2 seconds and a third. So been right there every single race. Mott's been on a roll in stake race last month that we've seen. The regular jockeys
Mhm.
here, Alvarado. So these horses could make some noise down the stretch if Cassius a little bit gets a little tired going this distance. Landover Seed, another interesting horse here. Patricia Schongberg in the dirt, and actually broke her maiden on the turf by 3 open lengths. Number 10, she's 10-1. I mean, she might recapture her winning form on the grass. So she has the back class here, running against the best 3-year-old in the country. So these are dangerous horses who could be trying to catch a glimpse. So um, I don't think Cassius needs the lead to be successful. He could probably depends on the pace. It can just sit off it. But it's gonna be an interesting race. This is a very it could be. I mean, we could single catch them from 12, or we could go a couple deep here and try and you know get some upsets here. So either way, what do you think, Joe?
Uh,
It's a tough one. It's 13-9, so
yeah,
it could be traffic trouble too.
well, yeah, that's it's a very real possibility. And I really, this race was difficult for me. I mean, I like what I've seen from Clutch Glimpse. Obviously, beating the boys last time out. She's prominent, so she should not experience any traffic trouble. Lauren Giroux is going anywhere she goes. So I'm not sure about the distance, but again, I could say that about most of these. We haven't seen it on most of them. You did mention Noble Beauty, who I like as a B pick. She's probably the one who's the most likely to get the 10 furlongs, at least according to the Tomlinson figures. But if I had to go, like I said, she'd be a B pick. The 2 horses I have on top are one of the European Invaders, Ballydoyle, is my top pick. If you notice, she's been only out of the Exacta twice, and that's when the turf courses in Europe have been labeled soft and yielding, which to me is like, oh my God, you got to be kidding! Noah's Ark we better get Noah's Ark, because because good and firm tracks over there are more closer to soft and yielding courses here. So basically, those were absolute complete bogs. Now with tomorrow's weather, there's a chance that this could happen and this could affect this horse. But she's been running against a horse named Minding, who everybody on the internet and in the social media universe was gaga over when she won at Ascot. Not actually, it wasn't even at Ascot. I guess it was at Ascot a couple of weeks ago at around the same time that Tepin was winning there. She actually gets first time Lasix, and she's dropping weight. She was carrying 126 over in Europe. Now she's only carrying 121. So 6 for 6 when it's not a bog. 6 for 6 in the Exacta. Placed in one a grade 1 at Longchamp, twice placed in grade 1s, in one at Newmarket and one at the Curragh. I think she's going to be, if anybody is giving Catch a Glimpse a real battle. I mean, if they both run their races, it'll be interesting, and I'd like to see it. It'd be fun. but I think Bally Doyle's got a chance to beat her. She's going to be inside. I think the Galileo sire line saddler as well, as they can run all day. I'm not so sure about that Tomlinson figure of 252 for this distance. I think this horse will be able to run as long as she wants. So I like Bally Doyle on top. And the other horse, if I had to pick another American horse, another domestic horse, it'd be Time and Motion for Jimmy Toner and Johnny V. 3 for 3 with Johnny V, undefeated with him, undefeated this year, been getting better, and she should be able to sit. Not like I said, not minding. Bally Doyle is going to be more towards the back of the pack. Time and Motion will be a little bit closer, and like I said, I'm favoring more horses that are closer to the leaders on this turf course, unless, like I said, unless the sky's open. And if the sky's open, Bally Doyle probably won't win. And then maybe you want a deep closer, somebody like Noble Beauty. But she's never run on a firm turf course, on anything other than a firm turf course. So who knows what that would be. But Time and Motion is an improving filly. And I think at a price, she, if I recall, is 6-1 on the morning line. Bally Doyle is the 3-1 second choice behind Catch a Glimpse. Yes, you can use Catch a Glimpse. I understand. Yes. And it's okay. And it's like I said, I'd love to see the two of them go ding dong down the stretch. It'd be really nice to see Bally Doyle and Catch a Glimpse, but I'm not sure about post 12, not sure about the track condition. And eventually she is going to run into somebody who will beat her. At least I would think so. So anyway, my top choice would be the 7, Bally Doyle. The 4, Time and Motion would be my other A pick. And my B pick would be the 20-1 long shot trained by Chad Brown. If you can get Chad Brown at 20-1, I think you do it. Noble Beauty, who should be able to get the distance. And maybe she's the one who runs down Catch a Glimpse or Bally Doyle, or whoever happens to be in front in the Belmont Oaks. Finally, the finale of the Pick 4 sequence is race 11, the Grade 3, 7 furlong Belmont Sprint Championship for 3-year-olds and up on the main track. And let me quiz you, Ray. When was the last time you saw a Grade 3 with a $400,000 purse? I'm gonna guess not too often.
No.
9 are set to go on the main track, led by the 2-1 morning line favorite Private Zone, saddled by Brian Lynch, ridden by regular pilot Martin Pedroza. He carries high weight of 124 and breaks from post 2. So let's assume we're alive 3 deep. We're alive 3 legs in. Who do we need to have in the 4th leg, Ray?
Well, first of all, if they're gonna call a race a championship, sprint championship, they better increase his grade, man. Make it a grade 2 or 1. Just, this is supposed to be, one of the big races of the sprint division of Belmont's, spring meet. So
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all.
Step it up. Make it a grade 2 or 1.
I don't disagree at all.
I would definitely have to include Private Zone. He's a grade 1 winner. That's not my top pick. I just mentioned him. He returns. Actually, the only difference from what I see this year from last year, he won last year the race. He's 7 now. Last year's winner, that was his 4th race of the year. Tomorrow will be his debut. So it's a little different. And maybe they're just resting him a little longer for later races this year. His workouts have been good, 58-1, 47, 46 from the gate. He's a class of the race, 10 for 32, almost $3 million. He'll be going for the start with Pedroza. I'm going to look for a horse to catch him at the wire. And that'll be number 8, Ready for Ride. I think this horse is craving 7 furlongs to stretch out into. He could be pace dependent, but I think Pirate Zone and AP Indian should provide that. He's going to win one of these sooner or later. He's been knocking on the door. He's 5'14", 13 in the money, 9 in the exacta. he picks up Castellanos, a big improvement. I mean, not that I'm sorry, Castellanos stays here on him. He's been riding him. He's 8-1, so that's a good price. As a B pick, Joking ran well last time to win the True North closing. It was a 5-horse field, and if I remember, I think I had 4 of them, and he wasn't one of them. So, due to budget, I went 4 deep in that race. So it happens, but he's been running well. Going 7 furlongs. May not be his game, but he's a closer, so he might be able to book out a trip there as a B pick. But I would just go 2 deep here, the 8 and the 2. I mean, if I was gonna play this race, not anybody else I like in this race here. I mean, Anchor Down a little bit, but he drew the rail, and I don't really think he's much of a 7 furlong horse. He might be more of a mile and middle distance. Then he should run well anyway. What do you think, John?
Well,
one of the good horses.
Honestly, if I was,
I say, but
if I was going to leave the racing form up on the screen, I would just leave it right where it is. My second most likely winner of this race is the horse that you chose as your B pick, and that's the 6 Joking. 8 for 8 in the exacta at Belmont, so you can't deny that he loves the place. He's got a lot to. And I'm looking at the race. I think there are probably going to be 5 horses going to lead. I think Anchor Down has to go from the rail. Private Zone's going to go. You'd even mention Green Grotto, who is also going to go. Yeah. Roxbury and Overton is going to go. So this race, to me, is loaded with speed. I don't see anybody being able to run away and get an early lead. And I think this one is just screaming for a closer to win. Of course, that means Private Zone will go wire to wire here. But I love the way Joking finishes. He's been getting better. It's hard to believe that a 7-year-old can continue to get better, but he's been getting better start after start. Undefeated with Manny Franco, 3 for 3. The distance seemed like it would hit him right between the eyes. And again, he's not going to be favored. He's 10-1 in the morning line, thanks to horses like Private Zone and Anchor Down. So he's a horse I would bet to win at that number, and I'd probably bet him at 6 and maybe even 5-1. I think he's that much of a good thing. I do like Ready for Rye. He's the other proven closer in this field. So unless somebody does something that we're not expecting, at least that I'm not expecting, I think it's those 2 guys running down to the wire, passing all the gasping speed horses, and I'm not in the Private Zone camp, and one of the reasons, I guess maybe the biggest reason, is because that last race, I just wonder if that's a sign of age or a sign of the fact that Jorge Navarro is not the trainer anymore. Obviously, Jorge Navarro has been blazing hot at Monmouth Park and at Gulfstream, and he's left that horse's barn. I mean, that horse has left his barn. Not that Brian Lynch can't train. I'm not saying that at all. But to me, at least right now, there's a significant drop-off. And with all the extra speed in this race, Private Zone's going to have to prove it to me. And if somebody wants to take the 2-1, that's fine. Take the 2-1. He's a favorite I'd be looking to beat. And like I said, it's because of the race shape. And the long left. I just don't think he's the same horse. He was supposed to run he was supposed to run on Belmont Day, if I remember right, but there was something about Brian Lynch being suspended.
Oh, yeah.
So, but still, I'm like I said, I'm not in the Private Zone camp at 2-1. I'm looking to bet against horses like him pretty much every day of the week. I think if he's the favorite, I think he'll be a false favorite. Again, like I said, all those things being said, we probably just put him in the winner's circle. So, like I said, my top 2 choices, and I mean, I like Joking better than I like Ready for Rye, but I could use both. Right. I would bet Joking to win. just because, like I said, he just loves Belmont. 7 furlongs seems to be perfect for him, and I just expect a pace meltdown. I expect to see somewhere 21 and 444, and going 7 furlongs. That's usually, unless you're in Southern California, a recipe for disaster. So I would just go too deep, and I would eliminate Private Zone personally. So, okay, now the time's come for us to try and make our pick 4 ticket. And I guess we'll go back to race 8. We went. You had A picks of 9, 6, and 8, if I remember correctly. Ray, you had.
Yeah.
If
9, 6,
it
8.
was 9, 6, and 8, and I was 8, 4, and 6. And like I said, I could use any combination of those. So at least for the time being, we're not going to have our templates tonight. Sorry, guys. So at least right now, it would be 4 deep, 4, 6, 8, 9 in race 8. Race 9 is the Suburban, and you were on number 4, Eagle, and I liked the 3, Shaman Ghost. And we both had some positives to say about Noble Bird. So I would assume we'd want to include him on our ticket, at least temporarily. And I know you mentioned Mubtahij as a B pick underneath. So I'm putting him aside. So we're 3 deep there with 1, 3, and 4. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Race 10 is an interesting one, and you were mentioning singling Catch a Glimpse, and like I said, I'm not so sure I would want a single Catch a Glimpse. Like I said, I think Ballydoyle is the real deal, and like I said, she gets first Lasix.
Yeah,
But
and
for the time being,
I think for a race like this, we should probably have so long shots too. We should include because.
Okay, so we're looking at, because you mentioned Noble Beauty, who is the 5, Harmonize, which was the 6. You also mentioned, if I remember, was it number 8? Looking back, no, not 8. Landover Sea. And I was on the 7 and
Ballydoyle, yeah.
And the 4, Time and Motion. But I also had Noble Beauty. So I would assume we're not going to go 6 deep, but I'm just putting them aside for right now. And in the last, we have to include Joking. I think we both mentioned him. I know you had Ready for Rye on top of Private Zone. What would your, because I don't think we could.
I'm okay throwing him out. I mean,
okay. So throw out Private Zone.
Yeah. I'm okay.
Okay, so at least right now we'd be 4 by 3 by 2, not including race 12. So 4 by 3 by 2 is 24 combinations. So if we $2 ticket, because it would be 144 combinations if we included 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 12. So we have to pare down there. Obviously, that's going to be our biggest issue. Like I said, I wasn't. I guess maybe I can take a look again. And I did see that Landover Sea did break her maiden on the turf. She was 3-5 that day at Del Mar. I just wonder. I kind of wonder if maybe she doesn't need a little bit more. I guess she's had close to 2 months off. I'm just wondering if she doesn't, if the outside box, and I kind of wonder if she hasn't gone over the top and maybe needs a little bit more time off.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of starting at Del Mar. I mean, I understand the purse is rich. So just like Wayne Lucas used to be, Paul Redham wants to be in the gate. So I get why she's here, but I'm just not sure this is ideal. This is what she wants, and whether she's not, like I said, maybe
it could be a test. It could be like a
sure. Well, but it's an interesting spot for a prep race in a 500,000 and $1 million grade one.
Yeah.
Going 10 furlongs. Like I said, I just kind of wonder if she isn't already over the top. So, and I know you said it was a reach. So I'm kind of thinking we should probably eliminate Land Over Sea.
Yeah.
At least that would be my opinion. What did you think of the Time and Motion? Or I know because you mentioned Harmonize. And I actually thought about Harmonize, and I think I could see Harmonize. And the angle with the blinkers, she may be closer to the pace, which at going a mile and a quarter, I think is not a bad thing. I kind of think she'd be okay to use, and she's a price. She's a price, so I don't necessarily want to throw her out. The problem is, it's like, okay, well, if we don't go, if we got to pare down a little more, who do you toss? I mean, it's funny. I mean, I like Noble Beauty, and I think she'll be the most likely to get a mile and a quarter. I'm just not sure. Again, Chad Brown, you have to respect what he's done. I just wonder if she's not just a little bit. And I don't want to say she's less than these horses. She just hasn't been. She hasn't seen the likes of Catch a Glimpse,
right?
And horses like Ballydoyle and Time in Motion. I mean, I guess she finished second. I mean, Noble Beauty. I mean, hasn't at least Harmonizes finished second to Time in Motion in the Wonder again last time over this course. So
at least Time in Motion did run well in the British Cup Turf, so that's a
right. Again, that's another positive in her. So again, I'd be more like I would be taking out Noble Beauty. Again, I hate taking out somebody who's 20-1 for Chad Brown.
We have 12, 7, 4, 5. And 6.
Well, yeah, exactly, because that would be five. That would be 5 deep, which would make the tickets $60. Now, to me, $60 for if we split 3 ways wouldn't be that big a deal. I wouldn't have a problem spending $20 on my own pick 4 ticket. So why not put?
It is a tough sequence, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, but if we could say.
So we can leave that race.
Why don't we do? Let's do this. We're gonna because obviously, for everybody out there who doesn't know, we play these tickets that we are broadcasting, and unfortunately, in this case, one of us, the third member of the triumvirate, is not available to us today. So we would actually have to talk to him about whether he would feel comfortable playing our ticket. So at least for the time being, our ticket would be 4, 6, 8, 9 in race number 8, and that is the Belmont Derby. That would be number 4, Highland Sky, number 6, Camelot Kitten, number 8, Aeroforce, and number 9, Beach Patrol, and playing against the European Invaders on this occasion. So that's 4 deep in race 8. In race 9, we would go 3 deep with the 1 Noble Bird, the 3 Shaman Ghost, and the 4 Eagle, tossing the favorite FNX. Moving on to race 10, at least for the time being, we would be going 5 deep. Time in Motion, Noble Beauty, Harmonize, Ballydoyle, and Catch a Glimpse. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12. And in the not so aptly named, as Ray pointed out earlier, Belmont Sprint Championship, grade 3, we would be going 2 deep with the 6 Joking and the 8, Ready for Rye, tossing what we think is the vulnerable favorite, Private Zone. So again, that would be a 120 combination ticket, which would cost us $60 at the 50-cent base. So again, we're not exactly sure if we're going to end up playing this ticket because this is a first for us. We've never done a 2 broke guys or 2/3 broke guys show before. So we will have to talk about this with our third member, and we will probably end up posting something on Twitter later tonight as a temporary ticket. And of course, depending on what happens with weather and scratches, all of this may change. And of course, Mr. Sharp may decide he would rather not play this ticket and we might end up on our own. So you'll have to take care to watch the social media, and maybe we could possibly do another chat online tomorrow, depending on Mr. Sharp's availability. I don't think it's possible, but we'll have to see. Is there anything else regarding the Belmont card or anything else in racing that you wanted to talk about, Ray, at the moment?
Yeah, actually, hold on. Let me get the other races. There's some interesting horses.
Yeah, there are 2 other graded stakes: the Victory Ride, and the Dwyer is tomorrow as well for 3-year-olds.
The Dwyer, got 3-year-olds
starting the summer campaign. You'll see these horses in the Dwyer and possibly the Haskell and possibly the Travers down the road. I believe the Jim Dandy also at Saratoga is the earlier part of August, so you might see some of the horses like Lauban running later this summer.
Economic Model's been running well. He won the Easy Goer. I was surprised that Connect's not here. I don't know why.
He was nominated. I did notice that.
He was nominated, yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, Economic Model. Taylor Savall probably trying to make a comeback back to distance races. He was in the Wood, Tampa Bay Derby. So some of these horses trying to reestablish them. Oh, and then you have your Swipe.
Yep, that's
Swipe's
right.
in his place.
Right.
So, he's been chasing Nyquist all this time. So he's
last
race, he ran in the 6 furlong. Definitely prep for this.
And he was very disappointing in the Lexington though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
very disappointing in the Lexington. I'm sure the DeSormo brothers actually probably worked out better for them because they could basically concentrate on their big gun, and they ended up winning the Preakness with him. So probably didn't hurt their chances.
Easy race.
Yeah. And what did you do? You have any other? Are you going tomorrow? I know you had mentioned that you were trying to get out to the track tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. My daughter's a barbecue, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Some friends, so I'll be there. Unless things change. But
okay.
Always get the mobile, always get the app.
Yeah, that's true.
I like to place bets in advance and be surprised later on.
You have any other horses on the Belmont card not in any of the stakes races that you like tomorrow? I'm assuming you've handicapped the whole card, but I don't know for sure.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't handicap the whole card. I just the last 4, 5, 6 races.
Well, I guess what I'll do, maybe we can go back a little bit and revisit the Summer of Speed since we have a few minutes left. Mr. Tirado picked Dr. J Dub, and he won at 28-1. Beating Successful Native, I remember, was the favorite in that 5 furlong, the Bob Humphrey last week.
That was a reach. That's just
so kudos to you. And actually, I got away with. I had a nice score with a 9-1 shot. Can't remember the horse's name now. Something about the girls. The Twirling Candy first timer in the finale at 9-1. And what's funny is the horse that I also mentioned in that sequence was the horse that was 0 for 46. And the barn's now 0 for 47, and he got beat. He didn't get beat much, but he got beat. But it was an exacta that I personally could have had. And again, we're not sure exactly where we're going with the show next week. We haven't determined. I know Del Mar's opening day is Friday, and we're all looking forward to the Del Mar, the summer meets, the boutique meets of Del Mar and Saratoga, and even I'm sure we'll brush with the Arlington Million at some point. I know we'll probably do Travers Day. We might do Pacific Classic Day. I guess it depends on the way everything falls.
Right. Yeah.
But we haven't really determined next week's show where we're going to be broadcasting from, or what track exactly, what sequence we're going to be using, because there are quite a few tracks who have smaller stakes races. Del Mar has the Yellow Ribbon and the Wicker, which is a restricted stakes, both races on the turf, one at a mile and a 16th, and one at a mile. And it's funny because they've been putting in the new turf course at Santa Anita, they have not had turf racing for a while. So we haven't seen a turf race in California for probably by the time Del Mar opens, about 3 weeks. So
that's going to be a challenge.
Well, it's funny because I think a lot of horses have just been waiting. If they were ready, they actually ran on dirt. There were quite a few that I can remember that ran on dirt that were typically running on turf, but obviously they were doing well enough that the barn decided, well, he's doing well. Let's try the dirt. See what happens. And I guess we still have a little bit of time. We can talk about Masochistic. Came back today in Southern California and won fairly easily in a race that was written for him. It seemed like. I'm not sure he paid more than $240. He was probably about 1 to 5. So he's back to the Sprint Wars. So you might see him again later this summer at Del Mar. I'm not sure there's really anything else to talk about.
Twilight Eclipse won today, an allowance race. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I actually got a chance to listen to that on the radio, on the Horse Racing Radio Network. I did get to hear the end of that race. So yes, Twilight Eclipse returned. I believe he's 8, or is he 8 or 9 now? He's in that ballpark. So he's getting up there, but at least I guess he's still got a little bit of fight left in him. I guess I don't know that there's really anything else we need to discuss.
Well, I heard that a 2-year-old is going to be running American Pharaoh's full sister.
Yes, American Cleopatra. I believe she's planning. I guess they're planning on a debut at Del Mar, and I guess if you want, maybe you want to go take her at 1 to 9 or 1 to whatever number they're going to make. I mean, 2-year-old. I don't know.
Too, that Bafford's going to be training. I forget the name of it. Something Farrell, but so.
Oh really? Is it for Zayat Stable? Same ownership?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I know
American Pharaoh's brother also.
I know Firing Line is coming back tomorrow. I believe it's an allowance race. He's supposed to be running tomorrow. I'm not sure if we're going to see Dortmund anytime soon. I haven't heard anything negative or positively, actually. But I know they got the San Diego Handicap coming up before the Pacific Classic.
We got Songbird, so we're happy about that.
Yeah, that's true. You're gonna get her twice. Yeah. Well, given that all goes well, you're gonna get her twice. And I kind of wonder if we aren't going to finally get to see Catherine Sophia against Songbird.
Yeah.
At some point at Saratoga. I'm not sure if they would do the Coaching Club American Oaks or if they would do the Alabama. I don't know that Catherine Sophia would really want to go 10 furlongs. I think she's more a middle distance at best. Mm-hmm. So I would think if they were going to try and tackle Songbird at some point, they would be doing it earlier rather than later. Because I think Songbird will get better as the distances get longer, while as Catherine Sophia may struggle to get that extra furlong. But then again, Catherine Sophia got the mile and an 8th last time out. So who knows? I just want to see it. Like I said, I'd love to see Catch a Glimpse and Ballydoyle down the stretch tomorrow, and I'd love to see good matchups. I'd love to see
That's what's missing, because now it's so territorial that everybody stays
Yeah.
their own ways, and then meet in one spot, the British Cup. So
it's not just territorial; it's that everybody's got
and
money.
also the money goes.
I mean, you can. Everybody's got a $400,000 race. I mean, who would have thought that you'd see Songbird? Because I thought I saw that the long range plans for Songbird is to run in the cotillion.
Right.
At Philadelphia Parks now.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. It's like, well, that 5 years ago, that would have been an afterthought.
Yeah.
That would never have happened.
All these tracks are making some big purses, so
yeah,
they're going their own way, and so.
Well, Saratoga bumped up the Coaching Club American Purse, Coaching Club American Oaks Purse because Songbird's running. They bumped it from, I guess it was supposed to be 200. They bumped it to 5.
Right.
So I mean, and I guess that really is part of the problem. And if there is really a negative about the Breeders' Cup, is that everybody it permutates the Derby too. It permeates the Derby too. Nobody wants to run against each other until that last possible minute, and it's like, okay, great.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to see these wonderful tour de forces by horses like Songbird or Catherine Sophia. And I mean, it really hit ahead a few years ago when you never got to see Rachel Alexandra run against Zenyatta. It's like if that never happened, I don't expect it to. I mean, I'm not sure why anybody would ever. Why would you? And I mean, I understand it from the ownership perspective. Why would you want to try Beholder now? But to me, it's like, well, if you're going to beat Beholder, you better try her now. Because you ain't gonna beat her on Pacific Classic Day if you're not at A1 best, if you're not California Chrome, or if you're not somebody at Nyquist at the top of his game, you ain't gonna touch that horse. So if you're gonna beat her and you want to beat her, you better beat her early in the year, not later in the year. You're never gonna get a chance that way. But then again, that's for other people that's what the owners. That's why the owners make what they make, and that's why they have the money that they have, and we're just 3 broke guys doing a web show on handicapping. All right. Well, I guess that's all the time we have for tonight's episode. Tune in next week. Next week, hopefully opening day from Del Mar. And like
looking forward to the South and the South.
Yeah. The only I'll end on one note. If I had to compare Saratoga and Del Mar, the racing is better at Saratoga. I don't think there's any question about that. But all the ancillary stuff is better at Del Mar.
Yeah.
So everything at Del Mar, everything besides the racing is must-see at Del Mar. So once again, on behalf of Ray Tirado and Rich Sharp, thanks for watching. Hopefully this is your favorite handicapping show. Good luck with all your wagers. And we'll see you next week on 3 Broke Guys Handicapping. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night.